Alex, what's your assessment of today's game?
Frustrating. I think we've relived that type of game quite a few times this season, I think, particularly here. And the first goal was so disappointing from our perspective. I think we can do better at the halfway line in terms of use of the ball, moving the ball a bit quicker. I think Ben goes in for it but doesn't really, sort of tries to nick it, and the lad but he runs for the halfway line. He's got loads to do. We just need to get down the line of the ball, don't sink. I think we end up sinking into our own box, which for that position is disappointing. And then obviously for that point we need to then force this and try and get the goal. I thought that we looked threatening in the first half. I thought we had some good chances. We don't make the best of them. We don't make connection with the ball. I think there's one comes over the right shoulder. We can maybe get a clean connection on it. We don't. We had a couple of shots from about the edge of the box. I thought Josh Laurent had a chance very similar to their goal where he opens up on his right foot, puts it over the bar. There's another one where he whistles one past the post. So we had good moments. And I think if we get that goal, I think then the game becomes more an even game. They then have to come out and we can exploit the space. I thought second half we started okay. And then as the game wore on, we sort of huffed and puffed. They then went into a back five and we found it really difficult to get in behind them. We did very similar at Swansea during the week, and it's tough to break that down. You need either to skip past people and have sort of dribblers of the ball, which we've probably only got maybe one, or you need a target where we can put the ball forward. And I can understand the fans' frustration when we're trying to build for the back, but the fact is we don't have a 6 foot centre forward. So if we turn the ball, there's only one thing happening, which means they're heading the ball back into us, and then the pitch becomes too stretched and it becomes a problem for us. So we're trying to obviously play in a manner which suits where we are and what we're trying to do. And like I say, it's so frustrating because we get into such good areas today at times, but we didn't make it count.
The first goal in any game is so important, and unfortunately it was another early goal that you conceded today. Why do you feel as though it keeps happening?
I don't know, because they're all different. The goals are different, they're not the same type of goal, so it's not as if generally we've been one of the best teams in the league. I think probably the best team in the league in terms of stopping transitions against us, and that arguably could have been a transition, but we don't do well enough in the first one. It's a sloppy pass back, we don't move the ball quick enough, then we don't really go in for the tackle properly, and then we don't stop them advancing on our goal. So when you analyse any goal, there's always 2, 3, 4 different bits that you could have done better.
When you've had so much possession in a game again, how frustrating is it that you're not able to turn it into a goal?
Yeah, but I want possession doesn't mean anything to me. Do you know what I mean? I think people seem to think that I'm fascinated with possession. I'm not. Do you know what I mean? I'm fascinated with trying to win the game. But what we've got to do is, when you play a team that plays in a low block and they get after the ball and they're compact and they're big and they're all 6 foot plus across their back line, they're dominant, the only way to play against them is to move the ball quickly and rotate it and move it from side to side and try and get down the sides of them. And I thought we did that well in spells. So in that regard, I didn't think it was a lack of effort for the players. We just, once we got into the vital areas, just maybe a lack of final ball, maybe decisive run, decisive finish, decisive touch. They're the bits alluded us to do.
You made 4 subs to try and mix things up. What were you looking for when you made those changes?
Really just obviously Sam coming in on his left foot because we'll try to work outside him, so him coming inside and getting his shot away. Jacob, because he's probably a bit bigger in terms of when we're putting crosses in, somebody that can try and get on the end of something with a bit more size. And Josh Timon, so when he gives Bersant the ball, it goes beyond him, whereas Morgan sort of would back up from behind. So committing another player forward and try to get into the box. Lewis Baker scored a great goal the other day and he's very dangerous for running around the edge, so I just thought there was a few times things landed, and if I could get Lewis in there then he was going to become a threat. So that was our best chance of forcing the game. We had young Nathan, but really the spare players were going to be in the flanks, so if I put another centre forward on, I have to lose one for somewhere, which then becomes a problem.
Is one of the biggest frustrations today that you've not been able to back up that result in midweek?
Of course it is. Yeah, that's what it feels like at the moment. As we take one step forward and another step back, and I think that's about 4 or 5 times that's happened now. So that's doubly frustrating. So